Hi, John Dwyer here, and by now, given that this is module number 8, you probably know me as JD rather than John Dwyer. I'm being very formal every time. Hi, John Dwyer. Since I was about this high, the initials, John Dwyer, JD, have just rolled off everybody's tongue, so I'm referred to as JD. I'm also referred to as Dickhead and a number of other, less attractive sort of things from time to time, but we won't go there. Okay, so this is module number 8, and this is all about free publicity. So let me bring this up on the screen, and it's all about how to get free publicity. And as I said in promoing this module 8 at the end of module 7, is that we are all used to marketing our products or services by spending money, either spending money on a TV ad or radio ad or newspapers or pay-per-click advertising on Facebook or Instagram, or maybe paying someone to do SEO services for our website, and so on and so forth. Outdoor posters, all sorts of things. So isn't it just a nice surprise when you come across an opportunity where you can get free publicity for your products or services? You don't have to pay for it. And I'm about to disclose to you how you can do that and what techniques you need to use to get the attention of people who can provide you with free publicity. So let me just bring up the first point. Journalists, okay, from newspapers or TV or radio or online publications, they're always looking for interesting content, okay, not boring content. So let me just underline that, interesting content. They're just humans, but you know what, there happens to be a criteria, particularly in the journalistic world, if there's such a word, journalistic world, that the story needs to be interesting. They don't really care that you've just opened your 12th outlet. That's not, you know, a mind-boggling story. That's not something that a journalist, oh, they've just opened up their 12th outlet. They're not really all that interested in the fact that you've just employed a new operations manager, Fred. They don't care. So therefore, the point is that it needs to be something that's got some oomph to it, that's got some newsworthiness to it. So therefore, journalists are always looking for interesting content, so become a storyteller. You need to tell a story. And you're saying, well, how do I do that? Well, by a media release. And that media release can go to the offline publications like newspapers and magazines and offline media like TV and radio, but it can also go to a whole bunch of online publications these days. For example, I'm involved in a tour of quite a well-renowned American speaker coming to Australia in the next month or so. And I'm also speaking on that stage. Now, this particular gentleman has quite a name. It's a globally sort of known name. And I'm involved in helping fill seats for those events. And so therefore what I've done is that I've gone to online publications, which are business publications, because this particular guy speaks and sells his programs to business people, just like I do, okay? People like you who own or are thinking about starting up a business. So therefore in the online world, there's a whole bunch of publications that have huge databases that talk to business people. So I've put together a series of media releases, and I'm sending them out to the journalists who normally cover stories about business. And I'm saying to them, listen, there's a great opportunity for anyone who owns a business to actually grab hold of the mantra that this particular expert is bringing to Australia. And I then go on to basically talk about what he's predicting. He's a futurist, okay? So he's talking about what will be happening to shares and what will be happening to real estate, what will be happening to gold, what will be happening to cryptocurrency, and all these things that are, you know, on people's minds. Now, when I send out the press release, I won't say, oh, look, this guy's coming to Australia and he's holding his events and, you know, you can get tickets there. But no journalist is going to print a story about that, online or offline. But if I actually have a headline where it says, Fred Smith predicts that real estate will crash, values will crash by 30% this year. Oh, and by the way, stocks are likely to crash 80% before a certain month. And then I talk about this guy's predictions, and you know, basically there is a way to avoid paying throughout all of these things should they happen. Then there's a good chance that journalist is going to write that headline. You see, the point is that you need to either be provocative or you need to have invented something to get free publicity. Really that simple. You need to be provocative or you need to have invented something. Unless you were promoting a big Hollywood movie and you're a Hollywood star, which unfortunately not many of us are. And so in this instance, because this guy's a futurist and he's predicting what's happening to stocks and real estate and oil and gold and all that sort of stuff, pretty easy to have a sensationalistic headline to get not just the journalist's attention, but also when the journalist prints this, online or offline, to get the consumer's attention, which in this case happens to be business people. Now at the end of, basically all of this scary news will be, oh, by the way, this guy happens to be in Australia in 3 weeks' time, and he's appearing at this, that, and the other. If you wanted to, get tickets to it, just go to blah blah blah.com. Now, the journalists normally play fair, and they realise if you've given them a sensational story, something which is a good story, then they will, generally speaking, give you that outro of highlighting where you can see this particular person. So that's what I'm talking about. Okay, don't think that they're going to be interested in this guy just holding a few seminars. They will be interested in some of the dire predictions he's making about the value of stocks and real estate. Now, number 2, ensure your media release is newsworthy. I've just said that, and it shouldn't look like an advertorial. An advertorial is pretty much, what would I say, a media release or a story which is really flogging something. It's really selling something. So it might be the latest ab swing, for argument's sake. And you might think you're clever because you put a headline on there is that brand new revelation of how to build muscle in, 4 weeks. Yeah, that's borderline in terms of being attractive to a journo. But as the story gets in, from paragraph 2 onwards, it's talking all about your product and the fact that you've sold X million of them in the United States over the last 6 months, and that Jane Fonda has used it and some other movie star has, and all of a sudden you're starting to bring in the website URL, and you start to bring in all this commentary from people, maybe famous people who've used it. All of a sudden the journalist is going to shut down. He's going, whoa, hang on. That is not editorial, that's advertorial. You're flogging something straight away. So you've got to be very careful that it doesn't turn into an advertorial piece. It needs to be something that's newsworthy. As far as this is concerned, appropriate media, it's all about message to market match. Okay, it's all about you making sure that you have the right message to the right market. So if you, for example, have a product that might be a health and well-being product, might be a vitamin program or might be something of that nature, and your primary audience are women who might be 35 plus, then you would make sure that any press releases or media releases that you send out online and offline are going to be to publications or media that has that audience. So for example, you wouldn't send out your health and well-being media release about a brand new product which is, reduces not only fat but also lines around your eyes or whatever it may be. You wouldn't send it out to an architectural magazine. You wouldn't send it out to a boating magazine or to a prestige car magazine. You wouldn't send it out to any blokey magazine whatsoever. It would go to a women's publication, online and offline, because they're going to be half interested in that if it's a story, not editorial, if it's a story. So it's all about making sure you send it to the appropriate media. That's called message to market match. The easiest way to get publicity, as I said before, is to be provocative, or invent something. Now, most of us don't invent things, and so therefore being provocative is probably the way that you might like to consider. Gordon Ramsay, he's a publicity machine. He's a publicity machine. He's provocative all the time, and his Hell's Kitchen TV shows and all that sort of stuff demonstrates that. He's always provocative, so wherever he goes, free publicity follows. Now, you might say that an exception to the whole provocative thing might be Richard Branson, because he's not really provocative, he's just outlandish. He does some really crazy things. He hot air balloons around the world. He gets hostesses to, basically carry him down the stairs of his aeroplanes and all sorts of, silly things. But because he's got such an engaging and giving personality, we all love him for that. He doesn't take himself too seriously. He takes his business very seriously, but he doesn't take himself too seriously. He's a publicity machine. So he probably falls outside the whole be provocative or invent something, because he is probably one of a few people who can just muster up publicity by doing some silly things. And look, he's been doing that for quite some time. I would suggest that if you're looking to get publicity, very few people can follow in the footsteps of Richard Branson. I'd say you need to be either provocative or you need to have invented or launched something brand new. And take me for example. I'm able to get a lot of free publicity in a lot of publications, online and offline, because most of my mantra is somewhat provocative. I'm saying that if you went to an advertising agency, they will tell you that you've got to get people to fall in love with your brand and then they will taste your product. I say rubbish. I will teach you how to get them to taste your product so that they'll fall in love with your brand. So if you are the absolute opposite from traditional so-called wisdom, there's a pretty good chance you are going to be seen as provocative. And if you've got some proof behind this, mantra that you have, which I have lots and lots of proof, then there's a good chance that a journalist is going to want to talk to you. So it's pretty easy for me to get free publicity because I will just say in any media release, most advertising agencies are wasting your money. And that, anywhere up to 80 to 90, maybe more % of advertising out there in the marketplace, online and offline, is a complete and utter waste of money. Now, the moment that a journalist sees that, a journalist that's got basically connections with the business sector, he or she's going to go, wow, I've got to talk to this guy. This is against all normal thinking. This guy is an enigma. This is very interesting. This is, this is gold. This is provocative. Now, I don't have that mantra just to get free publicity. It's what I really, really believe in, and hopefully that you do too now that you're into Module 8. But the fact is, because it's anti-establishment, because it's absolutely diametric opposite to what most advertising agencies would promote, then it's pretty easy for a journalist to get excited about what I've got to say. Number 4, one thing that you might like to think of when you're putting together your media release to send out to the appropriate online or offline media, and that is, are you the newest? Okay, are you the biggest? Are you the smallest? Are you the first? I'm looking at my laptop here. Have you won any awards? Have you invented a solution to a problem? Have you broken a record? Any of these things here. Because if you have, then they might be just the catalyst to you being able to put together a number of paragraphs. It might well be that you can show off about the fact that you are the largest database holder of antique racing cars in the world, and that you're situated in a little country town in Switzerland, and this is incredible. You've got a database of over 1.8 million racing car enthusiasts, and you've been able to provide interest to them because you've just come up with some brand new blah 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 blah. Okay, I know nothing about racing cars. You can see I was going into a corner there. I wasn't going to get out. I should have picked a subject that I knew something about, but you know what I mean. You are the biggest, or you're the smallest. Okay, you've broken the Guinness Book of Records, or you've just broken some sort of records. Or you've invented something, you've come up with a new Rubik's Cube, I don't know what it is, but if you've got something that you can hang your hat on, there's a good chance that you can develop that into a media release that's going to be somewhat interesting to a journalist. And the last one here is the journalist doesn't, I don't mention this in the beginning, but the journalist doesn't care about your products or services, okay? He doesn't, she doesn't. So a headline like XYZ company opens its 48th branch will not get their attention. Who cares? Okay, you care, but they don't care. Can you imagine any journalist in their right mind getting excited over the fact that Kmart are about to open their 650th retail store in America? I don't think anyone cares but Kmart, or maybe the householders in that particular area. So therefore, I think you've got to put yourself through a bit of a interrogation every time you put together a media release. And by the way, the blueprint that comes with Module 8 that you can download has some samples of media releases in there. So please make sure you download the blueprint and grab all that stuff off there. You can swipe it and use the same techniques for your products or services to get free publicity. But the fact of the matter is that just interrogate yourself and basically ask yourself, if I got that in an email and it said, ABC Toy Shop just opened up its 12th branch, would you get excited? The answer would be no. And would you be interested? The answer would be no. And would you press the delete button? The answer would probably be yes. So there you have it, how to get free publicity. It's easy when you know how, and if you want to look at the formula that you need to go through, then just go to our downloadable blueprint with all the details on there. Just swipe whatever you like from it, and hopefully you can start sending out media releases online and offline pretty quickly to get free publicity for your products or services. Now, let me tell you about Module 9. Okay, I'm just looking at my list here. Module 9, goodness me, it's, yes, module is providing extraordinary customer service, okay? Rather providing extraordinary customer experiences, I should say. So in the next module, what I'm going to do is show you how to Disneyfy, as in Walt Disney, Disneyfy your business so that you're delivering extraordinary knock your socks off customer experiences rather than just giving good customer service. Because if you give good customer service, you're not going to be water cooler conversation on Monday morning at work. You just won't be. But if you give Disney style or Apple retail store style knockout customer experiences, guess what? You're going to be the talk of the town everywhere tomorrow. Okay, so I'm going to teach you how to take on the Disney magic for your business. I've spent a lot of time with the Disney Empire. A very, very good friend of mine used to be involved in running the Disney resorts in Florida for about 10 years, and I have become very, very good friends with him, and we do seminar tours from time to time ourselves, and it's normally titled, If Disney Ran Your Business, What Would It Look Like? And we normally pack out those seminar rooms because business owners want to know how to run their business like Disney or how to run their business like Apple. And so therefore, really, if you want to know how to run your business like Disney and how to use Disney customer service techniques, then make sure you don't miss this next module. See you there.